Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now it is the end of November, getting ready to turn the calendar to December. But before we do, we must, as we always do, close the month with our typical Q&A. So you know the deal. Riddler goes up. You drop your questions down below, and I read them just in the order they came in as. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. These videos do go a little bit long, so chapters 2 will be down below. But we're talking about everything from the FTX crypto exchange and does that have effect on credit cards. My favorite cards. What do I like? Bank bonuses or credit cards better? All that and more, so of course, a lot to get to, so go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now again, no particular order here. Bat and lead off with Mr. Cool. I think I said that wrong. But either way, thanks for writing in. Would you buy IHG points with an 80% bonus? So what he's talking about is sometimes you either get points boost on transferring points to partners, or there's specific bonuses where you can just buy points, and apparently IHG is running a sale where you get 80% extra value. So, I mean, it really depends on what are you going to do with the points in the short term, right? So if you know that you're going to make a redemption, like you're going to buy these points and go over to your computer, log in to IHG, and make a redemption immediately, then yeah, I think it's worth entertaining. So the thing to know is, one, how soon, and number two, what's going to be your value on those points. If you're buying $1,000 worth of points, what is that $1,000 going to translate to when you redeem? So a typical, you can go through and say, hey, like this, so the thing you want to buy in cash divided by the amount of points you need to spend to get it. I've got a video on valuing points I can link down below for you. But, you know, I would check the value and check the redemption. Now, if you're going to just buy the points because they're on sale, well, then I probably wouldn't, because it's really easy to earn IHG points because they're a transfer partner of Chase. It's really easy to earn Ultimate Reward points. Hyatt has 3 cards that you can run through. They offer, you know, higher multipliers on a lot of stuff, but again, it's more so a lot of points, and they're maybe not worth as much. It's kind of the knock on them. But either way, if this was like your Christmas vacation coming up, then yeah, sure. If this was like, you know, for the summer or something, then I would probably just go through and figure out how to prioritize earning Hyatt points. So that's what I would say to you on that one. But either way, if you are going somewhere, safe travels. So Sledge Inc. here, he's an up-and-coming YouTuber. He's giving me a shout-out. He actually might have more monitors in his setup than me, which is hard to do. But, you know, he's up-and-coming, so give him a look. He likes Amex cards, but we'll forgive him, I guess. So if you only could have one card and one checking account, which one would they be? So I think for the card, I'd probably go... You'd want to be, I'd consider the double cash, but realistically, I'd probably go either Freedom Flex or Freedom Unlimited, which is a surprise to no one. I think it's really how much mileage can you get out of the rotating categories versus 1.5 on everything. They're basically the same card. I guess I'd go Freedom Flex because I don't mind buying gift cards. I think that would help over the course of it versus 1.5. Now, bank account will surprise you because you probably think I'm going to say Chase, but I'm not. I'm going to say Ally. Now, I don't have an Ally checking account, I have an Ally savings account, but the reason I pick Ally is because when I do all my bank bonus hunting stuff, I do a lot of transfers, like many transfers a week, not insane amounts of money, but just a lot of transfers, and some of them these random unknown banks. And Ally doesn't care. Like, Ally will ship the money there and back as many times as you want, whatever. Chase Fraud Prevention is the most annoying group in the world because of how they operate. I respect and I'm glad that they have fraud prevention, but sometimes fraud prevention will simply, they do a transfer they don't like. Even after you've linked your accounts through micro deposits, they'll simply lock your account, your Chase account, and not tell you. Right? But they want to, you know, pretend that they're here for the customers. Well, you're not protecting me if you don't tell me you locked my account and I have to call you, right? Or they'll call randomly, they won't announce themselves, and then they'll make it, you have to jump on the phone with the other bank to verify it. I never have that problem with Ally, so for that reason, I would actually go with Ally Bank. Kevin Moore here, like the nicest commenter we have, honestly. So he says, should I close out my Chase Slate Edge credit card and move the credit limit to my Amazon Prime credit card? No, I don't think so. I think what you should do is phone into Chase and say, hey, I want to change my Slate Edge to an original Freedom card, the OG Freedom. They'll know it as original Freedom card, not OG, but you know what I'm talking about. The reason you want to do that is because, oddly enough, the Slate card, if you pull up like my referral link, there's not a push for referral links, but this is how I kind of learned this. The Slate card, I think, is actually in the Freedom line, even though it's not named Freedom. So this should be allowable under product change rules. Now, I did this in the spring with my Sapphire Reserve, and I had no issues. They actually laughed at me that I wanted an OG Freedom, not a Freedom Flex. I have my reasons, but I have a Freedom Flex, obviously. But it was doable. Now, I've heard people say it's getting harder. I don't know if harder means like they now push back, but they'll do it, or harder means like outright, no, we won't do it. And you can always do the little hookah method, hang up, call again. So the reason you want the OG Freedom is because, as you might have guessed, you can't get it through an application, so there's no sign-up bonus to miss out on. So if you product change the OG Freedom, you're still able to get a Freedom Flex bonus and a Freedom Unlimited bonus down the road if you want. Plus, you'll have, another 5% card. Now, if you were going to, if they say no for whatever reason, do it in reverse. Call in, move the credit limit to an Amazon Prime card, and then close the Slate Edge if you wanted to. But then that just really depends on how long you've had the card and how many other cards you had for your credit history and average age of credit. But I would definitely try to get a Freedom card out of it and report back to us. NS here. After Chase and Amex, which travel point system would you move into and why? I mean, nowadays, I think there's only really like one answer, and I think it's Capital One, honestly. Because if I think of Citi, I like Citi cards a little bit better. I'm a big fan of the custom cash. We all know that. Obviously, I like the double cash. The Premier, I have a love-hate with. Bank of America, yeah, I mean, they have their Premier whatever card, but it's awful. So, U.S. Bank, maybe, but really, I think it's Capital One, because the Venture X is so good. Venture X paired with a Saver One card, pretty good combination there. $400, you get most of what you need. There's a lot of high multipliers to the Capital One travel portal. So I think that has to be the answer. I don't know much about their transfer partners, but again, travel portal's fine for me. I use the Chase travel portal a lot with no real issues. So I think it's Capital One, honestly. I think the other ones aren't even close. Spencer Johnson, another solid YouTube finance guy here. He's probably ready to pass me up any day now, so I probably shouldn't give him a shout out, but I'm going to. We're going to be nice. You check him out. He's got some good stuff on his page for sure. So, but he's asking hard questions though. So 2 options, but you have to choose one: bank account bonuses or credit card bonuses, and why. So here's a shameless plug of the show. Again, we have a bank account bonus channel, Run on the Bank, where we focus on churning bank accounts. It's very similar to credit cards, except you don't really have to spend that much money, and there's very few hard pulls or things like that. So if you want to make some extra money, I definitely recommend checking it out, but I'm biased, obviously. So with that, it's actually not close. I would choose bank accounts because I make far more money doing bank accounts. Credit cards, unless you have a ton of spend, like you're running Google Ads campaigns for clients, or you're a general contractor and you put all the stuff on your card and the client pays you, or what have you, it's just very hard to keep up with that level of spend that you would need to generate that many points. Yeah, bonuses are good, rewards points are good, but my goal is $10,000 a year from banks. I'm on track to hit it this year. I hit it last year, and that's with very little spend, like a few Amazon reloads on a debit card. So for that reason, I'd have to go with bank accounts. I just think it's more profitable and easier to replicate year over year than it is credit card churning. Phoenix here. With a new survey for the American Airlines Advantage Executive Card, I saw that you can get Hyatt Explorer status with 90K loyalty points. Does it specify if it is points earned through the program or only on the card? So was this? I know. So what he's talking about is the AA Executive Card from Citi. They put out like 2 survey options a while back, and we talked about it in a Sunday show. But really, the Citi is trying to get out of people, or Americans probably only trying to get out of people having this card only for the authorized user perk, where you can get 10 authorized users for free, and they all get Admirals Club. Right? That's really the only use for this card. So they offered some Hyatt stuff in there. I don't think they specified because it was just a survey. I don't think they went into that much detail. I'll put them both on screen. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll call it out. But I don't think they specified. I think those details would be probably hammered out a little bit later. They could probably run it like a status match. You get 90,000 points. You can 90,000 points a year. You could get Hyatt. I think they'd probably do it like that, but I don't think we got an answer for sure because they were just kind of floating out the idea. But I could be wrong. That would make it interesting, though. It would make it a little bit more interesting of a card. So if you guys do know, you did see that I'm wrong, let me know down below. So Lawrence McKnight here, he said, hey, I'm about to make the big move to a Tier 4 travel card. So he means, and he's borrowing like Ben Hedges to credit Shifu's tier. So he means like something probably like the Sapphire Reserve or an Amex Platinum, maybe even a Venture X. So he's been stacking up Ultimate Rewards and MR points. So we've got options. So he knows the travel basic benefits, transfer partners, lounges. Okay, so not a rookie here, but there's not enough info on travel insurances and protections. So he's going to know, how do I get covered, which one's the best. So there's not a lot of information because no one watches those videos because it's a perk that people only care about when they need it. So I know I have a full playlist on credit card benefits that I can link down below for you. Now, they're what they're called network benefits, right? So it seems like they're offered by the credit card company, like a Chase. Obviously, Amex is a payment network and a card issuer. But really, they're part of like the Visa, MasterCard, American Express payment network. Then the credit card issuer can choose to accept them, reject them, or even beat them. So that's important to note because really what you're going to do is the information will be technically in the terms and conditions of your card member agreement, but that's horrible to read through. So check the videos that I have. I know I did a travel insurance one. I don't think I have anything that's Chase and Amex specific. I more so talk about the things you need to look for and how it works, and that's really it. Because what you're going to do is you'll be going through your credit card portal, but realistically, you'll be dealing with kind of like a third party. Like if you've ever broken your cell phone, like you remember like the Assurion days, like you'd have Verizon, but like you go to Verizon and like, no, go to Assurion's website and file a claim. It's kind of like that. So I know there are some good articles out there that really I think Upgraded Points, something like that, has some where they specifically spell out, what you're getting. So the real thing you're going to look for, and I know I'm not answering your question directly because I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but the real question you're going to look for is what qualifies, what doesn't. So for like international travel, right? Like what qualifies, what doesn't. There are certain, like the length of stay, for example, could be a factor, where you're going, how you booked, did you use that card, the amount of coverage and documentation is going to be big as well. Those are the few things you're looking for. So if you ever filed like a homeowner's insurance claim or get a cell phone insurance claim, it's kind of the same thing. Even auto insurance claim is kind of the same thing, right? A few years back in a car accident, you need police report, pictures, documentation, file claim, that type of thing. So there's some really good articles I know of. I'll link down below for you, as well as that playlist where I talk about more about the network benefits. I know we have one about travel. I think I lean Sapphire Reserve because it has the primary CDW, which is really good. And I know they have all the other basic travel insurances as well. So that's how I would lean. But again, if you're going to be a big traveler with, you want the lounges and stuff too, then, the Platinum could be a good option there as well. Of course, if anyone watching has a fan favorite for travel insurances or has used them, that would also be good to help our buddy Lawrence down below as well. I just really hope at this point I remember to link all this stuff down below. Red Sox here. With Trump running in the 2024 election, are you jumping in the Trump train or are you sticking with your Biden bus pass? He's got like 4 comments on this. That's why we're answering it. That's kind of fun. It's funny that you say Biden bus pass when isn't DeSantis the one who put a bunch of immigrants on a bus and shipped them up here? I think that it's, what, I'll just say this and leave it at that. I root for interesting TV, so he'll at least make it interesting to see what craziness he comes up with. So I'll leave it at that. It'll be whether he wins or loses, it'll be fun to watch. It'll also be more fun if he loses because it'll be some kind of rage quit type deal. It'll be great. Good luck to your guy though, but I don't know. All right, Doc here. How do you think the FTX disaster will affect crypto credit cards? Already heard the BlockFi card is freezing up on all card holders. Isn't BlockFi in trouble? Didn't they? I don't know for sure. I could have sworn it wasn't going well for them. Short term, long term. Short term, I think you'll see what happens. People get nervous and they pull back. Long term, zero effect. And it's going to be more of a rant on FTX than anything else, right? So I don't do crypto stuff here historically, but there's a video of the guys called Cold Fusion YouTube channel. No affiliation. I don't know them. They don't know me. They got 3 million subscribers. They don't care about this plug, I assure you. But they did a 30-minute video on the whole FTX thing. Really informative if you're like me and you didn't know anything till all of a sudden the name blew up, right? And I think what happened is always what happens. No one asks questions when the bills are paid. Everyone was making a ton of money. And I know that, we're like, hey, how much do we blame the financial YouTubers who pushed it? It could sound like I'm a YouTuber defending other YouTubers, but realistically, Tom Brady was in a commercial. Sequoia Capital gave them money. BlackRock gave them money. A bunch of people with way better support teams around them than anyone on YouTube, no matter how many subscribers you have. I promise you that much. And we did the thing we always do. We ignored a bunch of things because everyone was making money until they weren't. So I think what I'm really trying to say here is that, in the short term, people are like, whoa, crypto, cards, hold on, let's slow down a little bit. But eventually we move on past it, we forget, and then we come up with the next financial product to make money again. So I think, it'll just put it on pause, and eventually we'll do the same thing we always do, because this thing always happens. It keeps going in cycles, and we never really learn. I think at one point they said, one of the investment banks that was talking to this guy was like the founder of FTX. They were like, he was playing video games while he was on a call where they were trying to give him $200 million. Dude, that's a massive red flag. But everyone's making money and they want in on it, so we just ignore it and we chalk it up to a crazy founder. So I think I answered your question. I mean, I think we'll do what we always do, and give it a pause, and down the road we'll be back at it again. Now, there's probably more hesitancy in customers getting into it potentially, but then that means the banks would probably just offer bigger incentives, and then that'll probably get us over it, because hence back to people making money. So that's kind of my cynical approach. Again, I'll try to link the Cold Fusion. I think that's the channel down below. Again, it's a time commitment, but it was pretty good. If you don't know anything about FTX, I'll link you. It's a watch. I think it's worth it. Stanley Martin Jr., friend of the show here. Can we not do a rant this time? Maybe. Thoughts on the Star Alliance credit card? It launched in Australia, but do you think they'll bring it to the U.S.? If so, how can they improve, and what bank may get it? So yeah, we talked about this a while back on the Sunday show. There's rumors that there was a Star Alliance card. So Star Alliance is one of like the giant airline conglomerates. The other one being like SkyTeam. There might be one or two other, but those are like the main ones. So they did launch a card in Australia, of all places. I'll put it up. It's not, cards outside of America really aren't that awesome. It's just a whole different market and different industry over there. So over there, I didn't really think much of it, honestly. You really had to launch a card over here to get those crazy benefits and things like that. I think it'd be hard to do over here, because everyone in the major airlines already has their own card. But I do think it would be interesting to see one card that you could just, in theory, bounce around card, from any one of the airlines underneath Alliance, Star Alliance, because I know there's ways, like if you like Delta Sky Miles, there's ways to get them to other airlines, but it's not like a simple thing to do for the average person. So to have like one currency, right? One Star Alliance currency, and you can use it on any of the airlines, or be able to status match to all the other airlines, I think would be really helpful. So who would get it? I mean, I think unfortunately some random bank would get it. This seems like a card that Barclays would end up with, honestly, which would be a miss. Like, I don't want Barclays is like the king of like the junk drawer cards. So it depends on how serious Star Alliance is going to take it. I would like to see Citi get in the mix for it. I would also like to see Capital One try to get in the mix for it, right? It's, add another travel card, add another co-branded card, add the Star Alliance partners to, all the Star Alliance partners to the Capital One travel portal. That's who I would like to, but I even think you could crank the annual fee on this thing to $500-600 if you had one united currency and one status match and a companion cert that worked one time a year on any one of the airlines. That's so much flexibility. Now, I don't know what that does to the individual airlines underneath it, but that's what I would like to see happen. I don't think it will, but, we can hope. So, all right, we have a few more here. So, Jimmy James, good friend of the show. Would you rather have 150,000 Amex MR points, Chase points, Citi points, Capital One miles, and why? I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. I think if you're traveling, I think you want to go Amex, right? I think they're going to be worth the most, because I'd transfer them probably to Delta, I think. Amex charges you that transfer tax on transferring to airlines, which would piss me off. So maybe I wouldn't do that. I'm definitely not going to the Amex travel portal. I mean, I think the answer is probably Chase, because I like the travel portal, right? Now, we didn't say this. Do I get a Sapphire Preferred or Reserve? Like, if I get a Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, I'm going with the Chase points, and I will use the travel portal. Plus, I could cash them out if I wanted to, but I don't think that's a good spirit of the question. Citi, no. I don't see Citi as travel. I really don't. Capital One could also be good, but again, you're back to going through the portal there. So I'd probably go Chase, then Capital One, then Amex, then Citi. I know it's going to make a lot of people mad in Amex land, but Amex bothers me transferring points to airlines and charging a transfer tax. I know you could transfer it to hotels. Hilton and Marriott would not be a bad option as well, but because of that transfer tax, and because I'm petty, it bothers me. So maybe it's just me. You can let me know down below for being an Amex hater again. All right, Jeremy checking in. good friend of the show. He submits most of our stories for Sunday. Always appreciate it, and huge friend of the show. See, I said it for you. He declared himself a friend of the channel. I'm going to start knighting people, I think. All right, what is the goals for the next year of the channel? What are you going to be traveling again or stay team cashback? What is the next credit card? So basically just what the heck are you doing with your life for the next few months? If I knew that, would I really be talking to any of you right now? I'm just kidding. So I don't have any travel planned. I think I'm going to say cashback for a while. I mean, when it's so easy. Like when it gets cold out, you're like, I don't even want to go outside and get the mail, man. Like it's too far. It's too cold. I don't want to do it. So probably going to team cashback. I've been obsessed with cashback ever since I started playing the bank account bonus game very seriously, just to see how much money I can actually take from banks, right? So I'm going to be cashback. Next credit card is probably, you'll laugh because I don't remember the name of it, but the PNC has a blue card. It's a blue business card. It's like 1.5x back on all purchases. It's not that good. There's like a $400 offer. So I want that because the next big business bank account bonus I have on the target for early next year is PNC's business account, which I churn like once a year. I think I might have to go and branch to do. At least I've heard some points about that. So if I'm going to be there, I hope to try to get that card and stack it with the bonus as well. I mean, that card's going to be just use it for the bonus and then be done with it. For keeper cards, I mean, I still debate going back and forth. Like, do I want another U.S. Bank card? I mean, I want the Altitude Go, but again, it's so annoying how they do their redemptions that I don't think I want to deal with it, even though I have the Cash Plus card. City Premier maybe. Or realistically, what I need to decide is how am I going to play my last little run with Chase, because I think by February I'll be able to product change my Ink Unlimited to another Ink Cash, and then I could, in theory, apply for another Ink Unlimited and hopefully the elevated bonuses. I don't think they'll be around that long, but last time they raised the bonus to $750, that actually became the new bonus for the card, so there's an outside possibility, and then you really just have to decide again which Chase cards. There's still a play to product change my Freedom Unlimited to an OG Freedom and get another Freedom Unlimited bonus as well. So that's probably how I'm playing it right now. Canceling cards. The Ink Premier will probably get downgraded to another Ink Cash card as well. So you can just keep buying as many gift cards as you want. And then I think at some point the Delta Platinum's coming up and I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with that. So I think we hit all of your questions there. So if not, let me know. But good questions. 2 left here. Baby Vilch. Read more button. There we go. How do you feel about Capital One announcing more and more lounges in the future? Makes me think about getting their Venture X, although I already have a Platinum card and a Gold card and a Sapphire Preferred, all annual fees. Skull icon or skull emoji, as I'm sure they're called. Remember when they used to be called emoticons? I was still calling them emoticons, and people were like, no, they're emojis. My bad. Okay. I think them expanding the lounge network is good. I mean, it's probably going to be a slow build out. I feel like we talk about lounges and then we talk about more lounges, and yet no other lounges have opened. I saw they said they're going to build one in Vegas, right, which is pretty good. But, it's just going to take a while to build out. So I think if the lounges, like if you flew out of DFW, that's like your home airport, you fly to DFW all the time for business, then I think that's good. Or you see them on your route, or your usual routes, and I think it's fine to count them, But that's the one thing I think we miss with the Platinum card. We talk about these lounges all the time. Like, well, how many times do you go through an airport with one that you have time to visit? And all those things, right? Sapphire lounges, I think, are a joke, honestly, because you shouldn't be able to get into a Sapphire lounge with a Venture X card because they let Priority Pass in. They need to do something about that. It's like, this is a joke. Like, how could they let that happen? Can't have Capital One cards in a legitimate House of Diamond? Like, that seems like a miss. I think, I get the card in year number 1, but the real question is, I don't think you need the Sapphire Preferred. If you have all those, I mean, I like the Sapphire Preferred because it's, again, got primary CDW. But if you don't find yourself renting cars, I think you can probably do without the Sapphire Preferred, unless you also have a lot of Chase cards and you can find commonality between transfer partners potentially. Then I could see that. But I would say one of those has to go in year number 2 and beyond. You know my feeling on the Platinum card. I like the Venture X a lot better than the Platinum card. So I admit my biases, right? So if you have a strong Chase setup to support the Sapphire Preferred, then I think you go with that. I know you have the Gold and the Platinum. Again, it's getting to be a lot of annual fees. So Venture X, yes, in year number 1, but I wouldn't do it only for the lounges, only for their lounges, right? Now, if you go a lot of places with Priority Pass and they have Plaza Premium and their lounges, okay, then I think you're talking about something. Plus, you're going to shave off a lot of annual fee there. So that's kind of how I would look at it. Where do you normally go? Do you have a route you travel for business, for work, just to see friends and family? Kind of best line it up like that. All right, Robbie S. here, last one for the day. What do you think about Amex Green's new credit update? So they added $189 clear credit. Originally, they used to give you like half a membership. So again, I assume only like real people, like people who like the show, watch 25 minutes in. So, but for anyone who hasn't, I can't stand the green card. And the reason I hate the green card is not because the multipliers are bad, because the green card only exists to nerf the gold and the platinum card. It's the only reason it exists. I understand we have some people who like the green card here. The multipliers themselves are good, but one of the things that annoyed me the most was the credit. I think this goes a long way to fix that, honestly. Now, with that being said, don't value it at $189 because if you have a membership through like Delta Sky Club, which is free, or United, you can get clear all day long for like $110 or something like that. So I would only ever value it at $110, but same with the platinum credit as well. Now, the move here again would be to get your Sky Club membership or Sky Team, whatever it is, Delta Sky Club membership. That's the lounge. Just Delta, let's call it Delta membership. Get that, and then if you had friends or family to add underneath your plan, then you can make use of the full $189. So yeah, I think it helps out a lot. I think it's much needed. Giving someone half a credit for something just seems silly. Goes a long way. I feel less hateful towards the green card now. I still think it annoys me that it exists just to nerf the other cards. But there you go. So anyways, that is everyone's question. Again, another super long one here. So I hope got everyone information they needed. If not, feel free to follow up down below in the comments. Of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, of course, consider subscribing to the channel because we're here every week for content just like this. And of course, back on Sundays with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, I already asked you your questions, so we'll just say thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.